Hey everybody, hope everything's working out with these quadratics for you. We're in lesson 2.3, last problem of the assignment here. And oh boy, 3 parts. See if I can do this without messing it up. So you got a ball thrown upward and outward. So it's like you're going up like that. It's going to be a parabola, like it starts here and sometimes it's going to land over here someplace. It has a maximum point there at some point. It's thrown up from a height of 8. So it starts here as at an 8. That's like your y-intercept up at 8 already. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. And the height of the ball can be modeled by this equation. There's your y-intercept. See, if the time is 0, those other 2 terms go away when you put a 0 in place of those x's. And the first question says, what's the maximum height of the ball and how far is it? So that's asking you, what's the vertex? So when you look back here at our equation, remember we had x equals negative b over 2a for finding the x value of the vertex here. So we're going to just plug that in. What's my b here? The 0.8. So I've got a negative 0.8 over 2a, and a right there, the negative 0.1. And so just use a calculator and crunch that out. Negative 0.8 divided by 2, negative 0.1, and that's a 4. All right, so I know that that's at 4 seconds there. And then to find out the y that goes with it, you plug that 4 back into the original equation. So you're going to go negative 0.1 times the 4 squared. I'm putting the 4 back into this original problem here. So 0.1 times the 4 squared plus 0.8 times the 4 plus 8. And then we're going to just crunch that in Desmos again. Can do it in your head if you're sure you're not going to make a mistake. I'm just not confident I won't make a mistake on those. So I'm going to put in the negative 0.1, the 4 squared, the plus 0.8 times the 4, and then there was a plus 8 after that. 9.6. All right. So 9.6. So the maximum height is the second variable, the h, or like the y. So the maximum height is the 9.6 feet, which occurs blank feet from the point of release. The maximum height is 9.6 because that was our vertex. What did it say x and y were here? A ball is thrown upward and outward from a height of 8 feet. The height of the ball, f of x in feet, can be modeled by x is the ball's horizontal. Oh, okay. So the x is the distance away. So it's 4 feet over. All right. I think that makes sense there. Second question, how far does the ball travel horizontally before it hits the ground? So that would be finding the point over there at the where it hits the x-axis right here. And so the height there equals 0, and the height is the answer, the f of x. So we'd be trying to solve here, when does 0 equal the negative 0.1 x squared plus 0.8 x plus 8 is what we're trying to solve here. And I don't like those decimals in there. Kind of thinking if I multiplied everything by a 10, it would get rid of my decimals. But I don't think that it's, we'll try it. So let's see what happens. Little trick here to get rid of decimals. If I multiply everything by a 10 here, because I've got one decimal. So 10 times 0 is still 0. 10 times a tenth is 1. So this is just negative x squared now. 10 times 0.8 is just an 8 because it's going to move the decimal over one place. And that's 80. So I'm kind of thinking about factoring here. The way I have it, the x's are going to be a positive x and a negative x to get a negative x squared in front. But I need to multiply it to an 80, but have them add up to an 8. But because of the negative, I'm going to be subtracting the two numbers. So like 8 times 10 would be 80, right? But that's not going to give me a difference of 8 in the middle. So I think 5 goes into 80. But I think that's 5 times 16. I don't really see it. So one other method we could do here is, let's put it in Desmos and see what we get on the Desmos calculator. So I'm gonna come back up to my original equation, y equals, and we're looking for that x-intercept. And it was a negative 0.1 x squared. I'm gonna go back to the original equation, which is written in red down there at the bottom right now. Plus 0.8x plus 8. So then let's squeeze it together and look at the point out there. It says 13.798. It's kind of an ugly little decimal there, but let's write it down and try it and see. 13.798. If I typed everything in right. Negative 0.1 x squared plus 0.8 x plus 8. All right. So how far does it, and it says to the nearest 10th. So that would be 13.8. All right, one more part. So which graph does it look like? Okay. Remember, it started up at 8. So let's just kind of look at the different graphs we have. This one looks like it starts up at like 18. This one's up at like 12. This one looks like it starts at 8. And this one's down at 0. So it looks like it's got to be C, using some trial and error there. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. I think that was almost the last one we're on, or it was the last one for this year. So good luck, everybody.